As promised, this is a success story from a client who manifested her husband back. He was divorcing her a year ago, and they are now happily married, living in a foreign country. So I'm going to explain to you a little bit of a background story, and then I'm going to read her email. And before that, I want to thank you so much for the amazing comments and feedback that I've got from my last video. If you haven't watched it, this one, and you can find it right here on my channel. So the first thing I want to say is that when you hear a success story, I don't want you to believe that it's about what the person did, right? It's never about what the person did. It's been a success story because of what the person became, what the person is. It's always about who you are being, not about what you are doing. And actually, she mentions that in her email herself. So also, I want to apologize because last week I said that I spoke to this client in December and I made a mistake. It was not this December, not December 25, it was December 24. But anyhow, when I asked her how long did it take to see a difference, to see movement once she started focusing on the person she wanted to be instead of the person she didn't want to be anymore, she said about 2 weeks, right? However, she did mention that the whole thing wasn't easy, but it was effective. That's the phrase she used. It wasn't easy, but it was effective. So if you hear people say that it was easy, please don't take this as a proof that you are failing somehow because maybe it's not easy for you. It is not always easy. That doesn't mean that you are failing, okay? Like she said, it wasn't easy, but it was effective. So what is it that wasn't easy? Well, it wasn't easy because guess what? She had him in front of her every single day. They were living in the same house, under the same roof. Different lives, separate lives, but under the same roof. So she saw him every evening as he was coming back from work with the absolute awful version that she didn't want to see. So she had that every single day. So two things made her change her whole experience. Number one, she fully accepted that what was in front of her belonged to the past, to her past identity, to her past assumptions, to her past beliefs, to her past insecurities and fears. That was now her current reality. Because as I said in my last video, whatever you are experiencing right now, you are experiencing it with a little bit of a delay. Just like lightning comes before thunder, thunder comes with a little bit of a delay after lightning because the sound travels slower than light, right? So it is only normal that what you are experiencing right now, it's your past assumptions, your past fears, your past insecurities, and so forth and so on. So once she had realized that and she knew that to be the truth, she wasn't moved. She didn't budge from the fact that, okay, what I'm seeing now doesn't mean anything except that it is showing me who I used to be. But now I have decided that I am different. Now I am this woman that is loved and chosen with no more insecurities and so forth and so on. And then what she did, every day she revised. And her way of revising the day was simply scripting the perfect day as she wanted it to happen or to have happened. So, for example, if her husband was rude that day, if he did this or that she didn't want to see or hear, she revised whatever story she wanted to have experience. He bought me a beautiful bouquet of flowers. We went and had dinner in a restaurant and this and that and the other. She wrote a complete new story. Now, she didn't let her mind say, "Are you kidding me? That didn't happen." Because when you do that, then you give your power away. She didn't do that. She understood that as I am, she can experience whatever she wants, whether it happened or not, as long as she says so, it happened. Even though it was not the version she experienced in the 3D life that she had back then, she decided this is what I want to experience. She scripted it down and she stuck to it. She did that every night. And again, as I said at the beginning, I don't want you to start thinking, I have to do that. It's not about what you do. It's about whatever you do or don't do is making you feel. It's about who you are becoming, who you are being. She found this to work for her. One, not taking the 3D for anything but a residue from the past. And two, writing her own story as she wanted to experience it. And that worked very well for her because it helped her to change every belief about herself, to change her insecurities into being a secure, loved, chosen person and having the perfect life that she wanted. And she was very persistent with it. When we talk about persisting, we don't mean hammering something as a chore. We mean persisting in the version of you that you want to be. That's all it means. So she persisted in the version of her, in the story of her that she wanted to be. That's all she did. And within a couple of weeks, she started seeing movements. And by June, well, they were back fully together as husband and wife. So the whole thing only took 6 months, right? From the time she was completely out of the game to the time where she was completely where she wanted to be and where she wanted her husband to be. So now let me read her email to you guys. So here she goes. Hi, Sylviane. It's been a little over a year and I've been meaning to check in. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you and your work. When we spoke, I was going through a divorce from my SP, who was not really even talking to me. Well, I committed to your word and persisted in a reality where we are happily married and together. Today, my husband and I, SP in question, are not only extremely happily married, we live overseas in our dream country in the Middle East. My life is better than I imagined it, which is exactly what I was trying to manifest when I reached out to you. What I wound up realizing is that it's not techniques. It's not even manifesting. The one thing that stuck with me is that I am the creator that is experiencing these states. That's been the key takeaway out of everything you taught me. And I've built a dream life so whole and full of joy. My life is still human in many ways, but it's a life within my influence, which is so empowering. Funny enough, I've also gotten him to believe in the law of assumption too. Today, he overheard me say something to a friend that was pessimistic and whispered in my ear, "You don't manifest the life with those negative beliefs." Anyways, I'd love to catch up with you on how much you've impacted my life. I'm glad we connected. You truly are doing God's work. Love, Ella. Well, that's a very beautiful email that really touched me personally and that I thought would really help you as well. Ella is not a real name, but she gave me that name to use for you guys. So I hope this was helpful to you. I hope it was encouraging to you. But most of all, I want you to understand that it's not about what she did, as she says it herself. It's not about the techniques or even manifesting. It's about recognizing who you are. And as God, you have the choice to choose any story you want to choose. If you want to say, I am sick and poor, well, so be it. You will be. Because as God, you are saying, this is what I want to experience. But if you want to say, I am wealthy and awesome and amazingly healthy and loved, so be it as well. Because as God, whatever you say, well, that's going to be what you are experiencing. And yes, it is that easy. That's not what you are going to hear out there in the world of Caesars, for sure, full of those people pretty much asleep, or very much asleep, I should say. But this is the truth for anyone like you and me who are awakening, who are already awake, who are knowing who we truly are. So thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting. I really appreciate you very, very much. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.